Hello there, my name is Pibitira Generika Precious, and today I'll be discussing the core components of visual machine and how visualization can help to solve real world problems. A visual machine is a software based application that allows multiple operating systems to run on a single physical machine. It works by abstracting hardware resources, such as the CPU, the memory, storage, and network, and distributing them among different visual environments. This allows a better utilization of hardware resources, allows system to work independently and while sharing the same physical infrastructure. The core components of visual machine works together to make it function like a real computer. One of the most important components of the visual machine is the hypervisor, which is also known as the visual machine monitor. The hypervisor acts as a layer between the physical hardware and the visual machine by allocating and managing resources such as the CPU, the memory, and storage. The hypervisor also isolates visual machines from each other so as to prevent interference. The hypervisor is of two types, the type 1 hypervisor and the type 2 hypervisor. The type 1 hypervisor runs directly on the hardware, while the type 2 hypervisor runs on an already existing operating system. Another component of visual machine is the visual CPU, which represents the processing power assigned to a visual machine. The CPU determines how efficiently a visual machine can handle tasks and carry out workloads. Closely related to it is the visual memory, which is the portion of RAM that is allocated to a visual machine. This memory allows visual machine to run application and processes independently. This way, a better application of both CPU and memory is essential as it ensures optimal performance, thereby avoiding resource contention while running different visual machines. Another component of visual machine is the visual storage, which acts as the hard drive of the visual machine. The visual storage basically stores data, um, operating system, applications, and users' data, typically in the form of visual memory disks. One of the most important advantage of the visual storage is that it can easily be expanded, it can be backed up, and it can be moved between systems. Additionally, a visual machine includes the visual the visual network interface, which allows you to connect to network, communicate with other machines, and communicate to the internet. Finally, every visual machine runs a guest operating system, such as the Windows or Linux, that runs independently from the system host and other VMs. Now, how can visualization help in solving real world business problems? In a business context, leveraging visualization technology helps in several powerful ways, one of which is server consolidation. This is where multiple visual machines is being run on a single server instead of different physical machines, thereby allowing business to minimize cost, power consumption, and the risks of creating physical space. Another importance is that of development and testing. Here, developers can be able to run multiple visual machines for testing applications that are very risky, such as malware. Now, running these applications, since it's risky, it makes machines of more important because it won't affect the main server, the main resources. It won't affect it. Now, a key example is that developers can be able to run um, database server, applications, web server, all in different visual environments, thereby simulating a real world production environment. Another importance of visualization in business context, which I basically like the most, is that of data recovery and business continuity. Since visualization is essentially file-based, it can easily be backed up and restored. So, in the case of system failure, a visual machine can easily be restarted in another server, thereby minimizing downtime and encouraging business continuity. Finally, another importance of visualization in business context is that of cloud computing and remote work. Since businesses can host their VMs in the cloud, It allows the businesses that to be readily available as accessible anywhere. This makes remote work to be efficient because the business data can be accessible to them at any location at any time. Encourages business efficiency. In conclusion, visual machines is of essential components such as the hypervisor, the CPU, the memory, the network, and the operating systems. And by leveraging visualization, businesses can be able to minimize costs, power consumption, encourage business continuity, and minimize costs. Very importantly, minimize costs. The key business, one of the key of a business is to minimize costs. So, we are all saving money for businesses. Thank you.